Good morning, Lake Providence Church family. This is Dr. Linda Plummer Ward with another health ministry update. Hope you had a good week. So, the new vaccines continue to emerge. You'll probably be hearing about the emergency use authorization for Johnson & Johnson's new vaccine in the coming weeks. The newer vaccines will be easier to transport, easier to store, and probably more readily available because they don't require the stringent freezer storage that Moderna and Pfizer had. Nashville will be using Music City Center for vaccinations probably starting this week. We are vaccinating those ages 75 and older and those younger who have comorbidities. Remember to call first and make an appointment. Your eligibility can be determined at that time. You can also go to tennessee.gov/vaccines to get more information and use the eligibility tool to determine if you are eligible at this point. So more and more people are taking the vaccine now. Millions have been vaccinated already, and more will be required before we obtain herd immunity. Vaccines are our main defense against the virus, other than wearing our mask, washing our hands, watching our distance, and avoiding crowds all the time. The vaccines will help us return to some semblance of normalcy. Life may never be as it once was, but all is not lost. The vaccines do not prevent us from getting the virus, what we know right now. Studies continue also to determine how well they will actually stop the spread of the virus. The goal for taking the vaccine now is to prevent severe illness, hospitalization, and death from COVID-19. The variants are here. We're in a race with this virus to try and get this under control before the variants actually become the dominant strain that is infecting everybody. This must occur not only in the United States, but around the world. So as you know, the virus spreads by human vectors. It needs us so that it can replicate and make copies of itself. The variants, on the other hand, occur when the virus makes mistakes while it's making those copies. The mistake is called a mutation, and that mutation causes a new variant or a new strain of that same virus. So I said all that to say this. Mutations cannot occur unless the virus is able to replicate. And the virus cannot replicate unless it can infect a human host or vector. That means that if we are immune, if we've had the vaccine, our bodies are less likely to get an infection because our cells remember the proteins from the virus and attack it in order to protect us. If we do get an infection, it'll be a mild one, but we're less likely to be a vector and less likely to be able to spread if we don't get an infection. That's why the vaccine is so important. And we need enough of us that are not vectors so the virus can't just hop from one of us to the other so easily. We need to have several people next to us who have antibodies that it can't infect so that it can't move around the population as it's done so far. When I received the vaccine, it was the first time I smiled all the way through a shot. And not because the nurse was so good, and she was. But there was hope in that syringe. There was light at the end of the tunnel. I was already thanking God for less disease, fewer deaths, the ability to visit family and friends again, and the opportunity to safely gather again in the church. Remember, whether you get the vaccine or not, it's important to continue to wear your mask, wash your hands, watch your distance, and avoid crowds. We don't have all the data about symptomatic spread after the vaccine. Right now, we want to stop the severe illness, the hospitalizations, the ventilator requirements, and stop the death. We understand the hesitancy and distrust around the vaccine rollout, especially in the African American community. While the majority of people recover, this virus has killed millions, and many others are still suffering from long-term effects. There's no way to predict who will get it, who won't, who will have mild disease, or who will have severe disease, and who will die. We don't know. I strongly urge you to educate yourself. Understand what is happening. Ask questions. Talk to your doctor about it. Pray about this thing. Make a decision based on science and faith, and not fear and faith. Know the real facts from reputable sources. Finally, February is Wear Red Month. We want to just say a word to raise awareness about heart disease, the #1 killer. Also, today is Super Bowl Sunday. Enjoy your game. Enjoy it preferably with your household members. But practice safe habits if you have others over. Our numbers are down. Our metrics are improved. We're finally getting over this Christmas hump. Great job. But let's keep it that way. Check out our LPMBC Nashville Health Facebook page for more information. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay prayed up. Have a blessed week.